The first bit is the Amy Coney Barrett confirmation hearings. This was day one. There are going to be 4 total days of this nonsense. So the New York Times put together a list of things that you need to know. This is all I'm going to go through as part of an overview, and then let's get to the juicy stuff. So here's what the New York Times thinks you need to know, and I think it's a pretty good list, to be honest. This is probably not about persuading each other. Senators begin 4 days of contentious hearings, and that is 100% true. You're not going to change anyone's mind in this. You're not going to change Lindsey Graham's mind. It's just not going to happen. And we'll get to Lindsey in a bit. That guy needs to be hoisted off to jail. I'll tell you why. Putting other people's lives at risk. Judge Barrett stressed her biography and the influence Justice Antonin Scalia had on her. And her biography is exactly what we're going to talk about, what I want to go in depth into. And if you saw the thumbnail to this live stream, then you probably have an idea of what I'm talking about. If you didn't see it, it's Jesus next to Amy Coney Barrett. And it's horrifying. Guys, she was literally a handmaid in what seems to be kind of like a religious cult. No one else will say that, but I'll say it. It appears to be a religious cult. Very scary. Republicans and Democrats competed to define Judge Barrett. The coronavirus pandemic shaped the proceeding, as it should. For Judiciary Committee Democrats, the Affordable Care Act was center stage. And this is a really important point here. The Democrats really did focus on on Obamacare. And of course, the Republicans are up in arms about that. They don't want that. For Democrats, this is about holding on to the Affordable Care Act, Roe versus Wade, the things that Democrats hold near and dear to their hearts and believe are, important and essential for this country. It's already a conservative, majority in the Supreme Court, and if Amy Coney Barrett gets in, it's a shift. It's a shift, and I think the consequences are very, very dire. Republicans attacked Democrats for anti-Catholic stands they avoided. This is an interesting point because the Democrats actually did not go in on Amy Coney Barrett's religion. I think they should have. They did a couple years ago. They talked about her religion, and as I said, she was a handmaid. If you've seen Handmaid's Tale, it's not quite that, but it's on that path. Pence and Amy Coney Barrett would make great pals in Gilead. Again, if you've watched Handmaid's Tale, I'm really horrified by this, and can't wait to get into that with you. Blumenthal called on Judge Barrett to recuse herself from any election-related cases, and Hirono evoked her own cancer fight to plead for an end to the hearing. So, of course, it is no surprise to you that Republicans want this hearing to go forward. Democrats very, very much did not want this to go forward. Amy Klobuchar, there are the two Amy's today making news. So Amy Klobuchar, I think, did a pretty good job of kind of going in on this, or at least saying enough to put herself in the headlines. So whatever you think about Amy Klobuchar, she did okay. Klobuchar, this hearing is a sham. Amy Klobuchar buries Barrett's confirmation proceeding in blistering opener. Senator Amy Klobuchar is condemning the Senate Judiciary Committee Supreme Court confirmation hearings of Judge Amy Coney Barrett. In a blistering opening statement, the Minnesota senator tore into Senate Republicans for moving forward with the proceeding just a few weeks before the election. And I have to say this, if the shoe were on the other foot, and it has been, Garland, everyone's opinion would be totally different about this. It's hypocritical, and it's kind of designed that way. Democrats are being extremely hypocritical. Republicans are being extremely hypocritical. None of them are dedicated to actually having any principles. So let's just say that before moving forward. In a blistering opening statement, blah, 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 right before the election, "We cannot divorce this nominee and her views from the election we are in," Klobuchar said. "We didn't choose to do this now, to plop a Supreme Court nomination hearing in the middle of an election. They did." Klobuchar bashed conservatives for charging ahead while ignoring more pressing issues related to the coronavirus pandemic. Specifically, what these people should be focusing on is the relief, the stimulus. We have gone months and months of them trying to figure out when and if Americans are getting another stimulus. They need to take care of Americans. Everyone should be out on the streets right now. People should be knocking down the doors of these politicians who have not given any relief in the face of the coronavirus. And here we are having hearings about a Supreme Court nominee in a completely political move to shove this in right before the election. Meanwhile, people can't pay their rent. They can't pay their medical bills. The economy is devastated. People are devastated and can't take care of basic needs because our government can't get itself together. Yes, Judge, I think this hearing is a sham, Klobuchar said. I think it shows real messed up priorities from the Republican Party. But I am here to do my job, to tell the truth. The senator went on to call for the public to make contact with Republicans in an effort to get them to shift their focus on to more urgent matters. Let me tell you a political secret, she said. I doubt that it will be a brilliant cross-examination that's going to change this judge's trajectory this week. No, it is you. It is you calling Republican senators and telling them enough is enough. Telling them it is personal. Telling them they have their priorities wrong. So do it. Okay, so I said that Amy Klobuchar did a pretty good job for Amy Klobuchar, but I do want to point out that it is complete political theater for the liberals that she's saying, oh, Republicans, call your, or people who live in a constituency, call your Republican lawmaker and tell them that this is important. Tell them that you don't want these hearings right now. Tell them that you want a decision on coronavirus stimulus. Just call them. Just call them. Yeah, it sounds good. It gets people to tweet about Amy Klobuchar on Twitter, but it doesn't actually do anything. You think calling Lindsey Graham is going to make him change his mind? You think they're Republicans because people call them? Even if everybody just starts calling them en masse, you think that they're going to give up their chance to shove through their chosen nominee right before the election? Of course not. They're not going to give up this chance. So this political theater, sure, whatever, take a stand, but it doesn't actually change anything. And Amy Coney Barrett, obviously Trump was always going to choose someone conservative. That's no surprise at all. And Trump really does like and hold on to his evangelical support, his Christian support, and choosing Amy Coney Barrett fits right along with that. Now, Amy Coney Barrett is Catholic, but she also belongs to this very weird, as I said, cult-like sect of Christians as well. So Amy Coney Barrett kind of fits that puzzle piece. She's very conservative, but she also has really bad ideas about taking her cues from God, even though that's not what a Supreme Court justice should do. That's not what our country was designed to do. She says she doesn't do that, but there's plenty of evidence that she does. And Joe Biden and the Democrats are certainly not standing up against that.
Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.